Hey there guys, welcome to another episode of Minecraft Academy, and wow, I keep jumping up and just landing on upper things. Okay, yeah, so this episode, as you noted from last episode, we did a couple things. We gathered some wood, we turned that into planks, and we made a workbench, so that kind of gets us started. I do want to go ahead and go over a couple things extra with you. Or we'll just go back over that real quick while we still have some daylight, just in case you missed the end of the last episode. First thing you want to do in a world is basically get yourself some resources, and wood is the best place to start because that's what all of your tools are going to be made out of initially, and you actually need sticks, which you make out of wood, for every tool material that you're going to end up using at any point in the game. And we'll go ahead and punch some of the leaves here to see if we can get an apple, just for a little extra food, because we haven't found any just yet, and that'll be something we address once the night is over. But basically what we're going to be talking about today, since it is almost nighttime, is how to survive your first night. And this is basically assuming that you used your time in the day wisely enough to get some resources, kind of like we did here. We've got wood, and for the time being, that's it. But we'll go ahead and grab our workbench as well, just so we have that with us wherever we end up going, and I'll show you what to do from there. So basically, at night, a bunch of monsters will come out and try to kill you. And that is the elements that you are attempting to survive in Minecraft. Now, you could craft up a wooden sword and try to fight them off the first night, but that's difficult even for pros to manage, and so if you're new to the game, that's probably going to be really, really hard. Now let's just check the difficulty real quick. Okay, we're on normal, that's fine. But basically what you want to do is actually find shelter from the elements, and the best way to do that is just find a little corner like this and punch your way in. Now that didn't give us a lot of leeway, and this is going to be super dark, so I'll have to add a lighting effect so you guys can actually see what I'm doing initially. But I'm going to dig out this block here and put the workbench there so we can make some tools. Alright, now you should be able to see that alright. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple sticks, and the way I split that stack is actually by right-clicking. So you're holding the whole thing, you set that down, you right-click on it, it gives you half of the stack. Just a quick tip to make crafting a little bit easier. And we're going to grab a couple of those, so we can make some tools and weapons and whatnot. And first thing we need is a pick, and that's actually all I'm going to make because we're about to get stone and we can use that for all the rest of our weapons. Now that's going to be a wooden pickaxe. Generally that's where you have to start because you can't pick up stone by just punching it. You can break it eventually, and it does take a while. But it won't actually drop an item for you to pick up and use. So you have to make the wooden pickaxe if you don't start out with any tools. That does give you the time to mine achievement. And we'll sit here. And I'm going to just dig in a little bit and grab some... this is actually stone that I'm mining, but it drops cobblestone, which is what you need for a lot of your tools and other things. So the next thing we're going to do is going to take this 8 cobblestone, and I'm going to make a furnace, which is just this pattern, all of it's cobblestone. And the reason I want to do that is because we need some light in here. So you click on this, obviously you're going to need some fuel. In this case it will probably be wood I'm going to put 4 of these in there. And we'll get that going. Now you see that the furnace turning on actually gives us light as well, which is handy. But when you cook up the logs, it gives you charcoal, which you can use to make torches. You can also use coal, but we haven't found any of that yet, so we're just going to be using charcoal initially. And if you don't find coal your first night, this is the easiest way to actually get some light for whatever you happen to be doing. Now, torches are really easy. You put sticks in the bottom slot, you put coal or charcoal in the top slot, and you get torches. Huzzah. And that went dark, so we're going to toss one of those up, and there you go. We now have light. We've got crafting, and we have cooking. Now we need food, but that's not going to be until later in the night. So I'm going to go ahead and craft up the rest of these torches, just so we've got them in case we need them. And we're going to do some inventory organization, because there's a certain way that I like to have my inventory, and when it's not that way, it's a little irritating. It's not bad, but it is a little irritating. Alright, so now we just want to give ourselves a little bit more room. And we want to gather more cobblestone. And basically, I'm just going to gather stone until this pick breaks, because there's not much you can do with the wooden pick past this first part, and it tends to break on you pretty fast. See, and that right there is actually coal, which we can go ahead and grab now. I think you can do that with a wooden pickaxe. Yes, you can mine coal with a wooden pickaxe, so there you go. And you can use that to make torches or fuel your furnace as well. And it just looks like that. It's like the stone texture, but it's got the little black bits in it. That tells you this is coal instead of stone. And you see when you break that, it actually gives you the little coal pieces and some experience instead of stone like you would normally get. Alright, so that was actually kind of a lucky find. There's you usually don't find a whole lot above 64, level 64, which is just like sea level. And we're actually a little bit higher than that. Not much, but a little. Now, as you're expanding this area, you want to make sure that you're lighting it up. Because if you get too far away, monsters can spawn in any of the dark areas, and you do not want them spawning in where you're at, because that would be bad. Now this is diorite. It's a new block that was added in 1.8, and functionally it's going to be basically the same idea as stone. It's just it's a different look to it, so that's something we'll get to later. You see it's still dark out, and I actually don't see any mobs at all, but that doesn't mean they aren't out there. And typically you don't want to leave an opening like this, just because there are some monsters that can get through this, like a baby zombie or endermite, or a silverfish if you're in like a weird place where those, like, they don't spawn naturally. There are spawners that generate them, and you can find them in extreme hills biomes. You'll like mine a rock and it'll break really fast and one of them will pop out. But that's basically the only way to get those. So it's fairly uncommon that those will show up. But yeah, that's the Minecraft night. Now the day-night cycle runs in 2 10-minute segments. So you have a night that lasts 10 minutes and you have a day that lasts 10 minutes. and yeah, they just go back and forth, day and night, like normal, like you would expect. It's day and then it's night and then it's day again. And of course there is weather. It does not affect you as far as like health and stuff. But it can be a little dangerous, especially like thunderstorms. You can get struck by the lightning, and that's generally a bad thing. So, yeah. Alright, so let's finish grabbing some of the stone, and then I'll show you how to craft some of the other tools. Now, basically, I will tell you, the new stones, the diorite, the granite, and the andesite, those cannot be used to craft tools. So if you're making tools, or you need stuff to make tools, you don't want to use those. So basically, first thing we're going to do is make a new pick, and this time it's going to be a stone pick, which is just like that. It's the 3 across the top, like with the wooden one, and the 2 sticks, and that gets us another achievement, just an upgraded version of that. We will go ahead and make a shovel, which is right there. Let me get these out of the way. I am going to need a hoe eventually, so we'll go ahead and make that. And definitely going to need an axe and a sword. So we'll do the axe first, which is just like that. And we'll go ahead and make a couple of swords. And the way I'm only doing 1 block at a time is I'm just holding, like, you'll pick up the stack with left click, and then you just right click in a block, in a space, and it puts 1 block there. So that's what I'm doing for that. Alright, that gives us a sword and a backup in case this one breaks, which eventually it will, because that's how swords operate. Alright, and that basically gives us our resources. Now, what I would normally put here is food, and I would normally have a bow here instead of the hoe, so that's kind of where that's at. Let's go ahead and look at... Oh good, it looks like it's getting to be daytime again. Now, even when it's day and you're coming out of your hole, you want to be careful. Kind of take a couple looks around, make sure nothing spawned nearby, and I would actually like sprint away real quick, just in case something ends up following you. Alright, and it looks like we're good, actually. So, what I'm going to do to make sure I can find my home again is just put a torch right there. Lets us know, hey, this is home. And, yeah, now we'll probably end up moving that back at some point, but we don't need to mess with that right now. What we do need to do, though, is actually get some more wood, because we are running kind of low on that. So, as you recall from the last episode, you want to focus in primarily on the oak trees initially, because they do have a chance of dropping an apple. And you want to try and replant when you can. I think there was one like here somewhere. Yeah, okay. So we'll grab a little bit more wood here, and then we want to look at getting some food, because we won't make it very long without that. And you want to be careful when you're climbing these hills, because fall damage adds up pretty quickly. Now over here we've got, looks like 4 cows. Oh good, sheep up there. We're actually going to do that first. We'll come back to the wood. Actually, we're going to go ahead and set up a tree farm real quick, closer to our little base, so we don't have to worry about running out to grab wood every day or so. And the way I like to do this is just place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the 6th block you can place another. It just gives them plenty of room to grow. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay. And that will make some stuff for us. Now, the reason we want to get sheep initially is actually because we need wool to make a bed. And the bed is important because of 2 reasons. It will let you skip the night and go straight to day again. And it will reset your spawn point so that if you die, you will spawn in your bed instead of... Yeah, there's 1 down there, and there's 3 up here. Generally, I try not to kill more than I can replace. Alright, so that gave us 1 wool, and that actually gave us 2 raw mutton, which we can cook and eat. So that gives us... what we need to... That'll give us some food as well as potentially a bed. Please drop 2 wool. Oh no, it only dropped 1 wool. Alright, like I said, generally I don't approve of killing off an entire population or so much of it that you can't rebreed them and grow the population again, but in this case I need the wool, so there it is, and we'll find some more sheep later. It is an infinite world, so they're out there, I promise. And this is a plains, so there's probably like a ton of them, like right out here somewhere. Here, sheepy, sheepy. And there's, you'll notice random caves will spawn in the ground, so you gotta be careful of that. Oh, chickens! Yay, chickens! And some weird, evil-looking rabbits. And no... Okay, well, we'll find sheep again later. Like, that's not a huge deal. In order to sprint, you just double-tap your W key, or you can hold down Shift and... Oh, wait. There's something to do with shifting that? Okay, it's control. You just press control while you're doing forward. But yeah, anyway, to make a bed, you need more wood than we have. Dang it, just so close. Alright, so let's grab wood. Aha, see? Some of our trees have already grown. So we'll get rid of the leaves here. Now, it is not necessary to break the leaves like this. I actually just prefer it because it takes a little bit longer, but it just cleans up nicer. And it makes sure that you don't miss any of the drops. What most people will do is actually just break leaves enough to get into the trunk. And then you cut down the trunk and the leaves will actually start to decay on their own. So you don't have to break them by hand. The drop rates do not change at all, regardless of whether they decay or you break them with your fist. So nothing to worry about there. I just like to go ahead and break them with my fist just because if you let them decay and then you go away, you might forget that there's stuff there that you need to grab, and you might miss some of the drops that way. Is there a... Oh, there's a cave right here. Like literally right next to our base. Alright. So we will talk about cave exploration here soon because that's going to be a thing. But first things first, we want to craft that up. Now, in order to make a bed, you use 3 wood. Now, in order to just drop 1 block in all the slots that you pass over, you click and hold, when you're holding a stack of something, you click and hold the right mouse button and just drag across the slots you want stuff in. Then you let go, and it does that. And then of course you need 3 wool for the bed on top like that, and you get a bed, which we will put here. And I'm going to set down in that corner. And we'll put a torch up there to keep that all lit up and nice looking. And then of course we want to cook our food a little bit, so we'll toss some coal in there and we'll toss our mutton in, and there we go. Now let's go replant our tree here. Oh, sorry about that. Keyboard's rebelling against me. It happens from time to time, but will not be tolerated today. 4, 5, 6, there it is. And let's see if any of our mutton is done. It is. So that's where the food would go, and we'll eat one of those. And there we go, full food again. Wonderful. Alright, so that gets us situated. I'm going to do one more thing before we call it a day. First of all, I'm going to turn my keyboard off and then turn it back on to see if that helps. Oh good, that does help. And we're going to make a door so that we don't have to block this up with dirt every night. And that's just the pattern for a door. It's 6 arranged in this pattern, and you can have it this side in the middle or this side in the middle. It doesn't matter. And they've changed it so it now gives you 3 doors, which we don't really need 3 doors, but who cares? We can use the other doors for something later, I'm sure. Now, the door will always place on the side of the block that is closest to you, so if you go outside your house and do this, you get a nice flush look to the door. And you just right-click to open and right-click to close. And you can see this is the block that it's on, and there's that space right there. And just to show you, sturdy door. If I did it from the inside, you would do that, and you would come outside. Come on, mouse. Come on. And it's indented a little bit. I actually prefer the flush look, so we're going to do that. But you're free to do it however you like. Alright, and so what that's going to do is allow you to actually see whether it's day or night. But since you have a bed now, it doesn't matter that much. And it creates a barrier for mobs and stuff, so they can't just walk in and you don't have to put blocks there. Alright, so let's go ahead and sleep now that it's nighttime. That's a loading error, if ever there was one. And there you go. Now we look out and you can see that it's daytime. And so there you have it. We've got how to survive your first night if you don't have a bed, how to use the beds, how to make them, how to make a furnace, how to make a door, and how to make all your tools and get some food initially. Alright, so that will conclude this particular lesson. Next time we'll probably be talking about cave exploration, but I reserve the right to change my mind. So, thank you guys for watching. If you found this lesson helpful, be sure to leave a like on the video. And of course, if you're not subscribed yet, be sure to do so you can get notifications when new lessons and new content comes out. So, thanks for watching guys, and as always,